Hello, welcome to the Coohom kitchen closet design tool. Today we are going to use the standard tool and the libraries to do a very standard demo of the customized kitchen. First, click the Start Design. And before we access to the detail tool, we can go to the avatar, get the preference, and here change the unit, maybe from millimeter in the default setting, we change to fractional inches, and don't forget changing the position to 1/32. Okay, after that we can directly get started with the drawing using the rectangle wall. Click and click to draw. You can directly type number 150. Okay, click tab, the tab 150 as well. Now we have a kind of a room. Okay, just name it as the customized tool kitchen. And don't forget, actually we have the doors and windows. So first, a kind of a basic slide, single door, put it here. Okay, just remain the default setting, but just change the side of the distance to the wall to 5. And continually we got a linear window, it's very basic, and put at the approximately center and click. Now you can change here, for example, to around the 59.5. okay, so now you have a very standard square rooms, and then you have the doors and windows. Okay, and also just take the 3D or click number 3, check about the area. And by the way, if you want to see more precise with the gap or the boundary, you can click the cube here. We got the material and the wireframe activated. Yeah, it's recommending you to use the wireframe. And also turn back to 2D. Okay, and then here, if you want to do the kitchen, click this kitchen button. And now we are having this environment of the customizing. And here you can see we got this different main catalog. You can see here the rules catalog. It shows manufacturer, enterprise, and personal. So from the very beginning, since today we are using a very standard demo, use the manufacturer. And you can also get this pin as the default setting. And also you have the different brands here. You got so many different main catalog. Then you can just click to select. For example, you can search for the product frame. Okay, that frame the catalog, and here you can see the frame cabinet. Yeah, you can just pin it. Okay, so for example, if I want to frequently use this catalog of the different cabinets and models, just add to the pin. The same for roof, for example. That's for the appliance. So give this one. Okay, now you can have the default settings, and you will have a quick access. Okay, and these two we recommend you this time to use. Of course, you can have your preference. And then here you can get started. If you want, click this one, and you will have the very simple but very tidy the catalog base corner, from the wall, from top, okay, to even the fillers and other materials. You can see here. If you want, you can also drag to see clearly, and here you can also switch and change afterwards. So first we need a handle. We need a handle with the, for example, the sink. So you can select base, and now you have so many. Find out we have the sink, for example, sink base. Okay, and then sink base standard. Now you have the different size from 24 to even 48. You have so many different size. Okay, we select one standard, for example, okay, 30 sink base. And now you can directly put into the room. And in this way, if you want a really standard using to put at the very center of the window, okay, you can first directly move your mouse. Now the sink base, okay, already lies on the very center, but don't directly touching the boundary, just leave a gap and then click. Now give a number. Of course, 0 means directly touching to the boundary, and this is the one of the way. But if you really want to have some other ways, you can also do like this. For example, here we have the precise layout. Okay, activate the precise layout. Now when you click here, also now you have so many different points. Okay, and then don't forget to let the system auto snap, okay, to the midpoint on the boundary. Okay, try to avoid some of internal use clicking. Just at the boundary, click and then move. Now the system will also offers you the automatically touching to the midpoint of the window. Okay, after that you can just click off this function. Okay, and then you can have another is for the base corner. Okay, let me turn back. Still base, but this time base corner we got a base blind, this one. And then also you can turn to base blind standard and select the very standard one, for example the 36. And now you can see we mark out the direction as left L or right R. Okay, that's the different dimension, just don't mix them. So click and then put. And also just pay attention when you see the lightings here. Okay, the dimension it shows is always with the green arrow. Okay, and you can click. And ideally to settle for the position, you can see actually here is the blind area. This is the blind area. Just pay attention about that difference. And then you can continue. Select this is the left, this is the right, and then we can also select the left. Click to put. And if you feel like it's really hard to settle with the position, just before putting here, check about your system setting by this button. Is it snap model with the lateral snap function? And also here we got this adaptation that with limit. And then once you click, put in here, just move your mouse on the boundary of different walls and it will lie with the certain positions, okay, and the certain dimensions. And then also here, now we turn to, for example, another still in base. Okay, base door drawer standard. Okay, and also for example 36. Okay, this one, click and put. Now it goes well onto it. And just pay attention, if you put any incorrect position, for example like this one, the system will tell you with the arrow, this means conflict with the orange boundary. Okay, after putting in the correct position, now it goes well. And then continue, click this one. You can also use the copy to put on the other side. And now take a viewing, okay, in 3D, in good position. Okay, then you can turn to continually, you can turn back. For example, we need to continue here to have a kind of a range. So still turning back. Okay, turn to roof. Here ranges, gas 30. Okay, gas range, correct. Okay, and then put, if it is shining like this one, okay, and flashing like this one, actually the system now is trying to auto snap. Okay, you can directly put in that position, first on the side of a wall, and then still 0 to give a proper viewing. Don't forget to check within the material plus wireframe. It will offer you a really precise boundary looking. Okay, and continue. Here we can have turn back to the frame, front cabinet, base door drawer, standard, and also 21. Good. So if you really want to get a quicker result, you can directly search for the series number. Okay, and now you can have the result and put it here. Also 0. Take a look. Okay, continually having the result, duplicate, and right side. Yeah, the difference will always lies with the opening doors. You see, this is the left, okay, this is the right. You see the different open dimensions. Even if you want, double click, you can also select the certain parts, and now you can see the opening direction of the door. It shows a different result. Okay, now we continue. Since we finished the basic, okay, the base layout, now we finish the base layout. We can try to see if we have for the sink, and now you can click here. We have the ruler, it means generate. You can select the sink, okay, and select the target. You need to select the target of the base unit and also the sink style. Okay, sink style. Now you can also switch for the manufacturer, and here, for example, the sink. Okay, you have the sub-catalog. You can see here sink or basin. Okay, and directly click for a single or double. It's up to your choice. And then you can directly searching, for example, for the standard 30 stem this. Just select your preference. You can also click here to check. Okay, check for the status. Now we're searching for, okay, catalog, and directly search under the catalog 30. Okay, stainless under, yeah, this one. Click. Now you have the selected choice, and you can also even here to change the sink size if you prefer. And also if you want to configure the faucet, you can click here with the tab style. Now you can also have here change to manufacturer. Okay, also faucet. Okay, under this searching for the faucet. Or brands, select this one, and also kitchen faucet. Okay, single one, single spot. Okay, then this, yeah. You have all these selections you can also use. For example, you use this one. Now the click generate. Also, this is a spacing you can select, and also here the different type, top or under mount. Okay, you can select and then generate. Now you can check about the result. After that, click finish. After you finish the basing, you can also turn to the countertop. Okay, here still countertop, and now the system will automatically select all these, and then what you need is to select, for example, from the front edge, backsplash if you want, material, and then generate. Now turn here still, for example, okay, here change to manufacturer. We use the appliance and accessories, and also here, for example, the countertop. Okay, W front, still here, front edge. Okay, 11. Okay, for example, select this one. And also I don't want a backsplash, so I don't need to click. Material, for example, steel, manufacturer, marble. Okay, for example, this one. So click. Okay, these are all the status. You can also settle, for example, the front edge height, and also for the different status extensions, but most of the time just remain the same. Yeah, front water barrier, just pay attention here. Is it outside or inside, insert or onset? So change the different status, you will have the certain results. Now click generate. Okay, we can have the results, and then you can turn to, for example, to 2D continually. Here click finish, and then if you want, you can have, for example, the different unit for the tall cabinet or the wall cabinet. Here first, still we turn to the 2D. For example, we turn to the 2D. Now turn to wall corner. Okay, for example, 30 wall corner, 19 degree. Okay, and also we have this one. Okay, now still pay attention about the dimensions. Is it incorrect? So just check about the status, and then continue. You can put another here, for example, for the 30, not wall corner, just only wall. Okay, 30 for the height, doors and windows, 30 wall, doors and windows. Okay, door, or just searching for W. Yeah, got this. Click and put. Okay, and also duplicate for this side, but leave a gap 24. Okay, and then also another, still directly searching, W 24, 30 on the right side. So here, click and put, and check in 3D. Okay, Here, if you want, just you can also change, for example, the status if it is incorrect. Okay, so for example, changing the installation, for example, here continually, you can regenerate that for the, for example, sink. This one, mount, generate. Now if it is turn mount, you can see it's cutting smoothly. You can cut it smoothly. Okay, and then here, let's turn to, for example, continually here. Still we need another wall unit. Turn back, wall unit, still 30. Now is the with the glass. Okay, for example, still now searching for W1230. Wow, but glass. Okay, so you can see we have this with the glass. Just click and put. Okay, and after that we can have for example the micro oven. 36. Now have this, click and put. But however, you can also change for the internal area. For example, here if it is too low for the micro oven installation, you can turn to, for example, here to change the custom parameters. But that's the later part, the drawer height. Later we will change that. Continually, we first put the other side, okay, the wall unit, still W2130 left. Okay, now put in here. Okay, and also don't forget, actually, if you really insist to put on the correct position, you can click the base unit and holding down shift button, click the upper right side. Here you can also have the function called adaptation and align. For example, align with the height, the width, or align with the align position, left or right. You can have different dimensions. So for example, now it's really in the correct position. Yeah, but here we can directly leave the proper area. So just click 0, auto snap, and now we can turn to the oven. For example, still the built-in oven. Click built-in oven. Speed. Okay, we got this, for example, 30. Micro oven series. Contemporary, drop down. Okay, here drop down, micro oven. Yeah, you can see actually it can be auto snapped on the button. But here, if the area is not high enough, the internal area, if you want to change drawer height, for example, 18. Okay, now you can have a proper heighting. Let me turn to 19. Yeah, it will be better. And even at this moment here, you can also change for the different width, depth, and height. Okay, change, and also don't forget to lock the dimension. Actually, we all have these dimension lockings, so just pay attention about it. If you have some supplier models, maybe they are locked, then here it will show unable to be changed. Okay, And now after you finish all the basic unit settings, and then you can turn to, for example, the top molding. Here we can have the chrome molding. Okay, and still the system will auto select all this, and then you can select, for example, here the style. It actually is the same logic. For example, here manufacturer, the crown molding. Okay, searching for 23 G size. Yeah, this one. And then here material, still manufacturer. For example, cherry matte. Yeah, NS03. Yeah, you can just select from this, for example, click, and now generate. Also, you can change for the height and extent. Okay, and the system will automatically break them. It won't be connected if there's no any other units combined. Click finish. Okay, and also don't forget here, if you really want to change the precise status, for example, here I just show you, if you really want to show the change for the certain overlay of the unit, you can also turn to select part. Now you can click on the panel, the door panel, and now you can see we have the door type changing here. For example, open direction, default setting left. Okay, you can change, of course you can change to right, but most of the time just leave it for user default setting. And also cover the door as the whole size, full onset. You can have the number, but here you can also independently change left or right, or here I wanted to get it higher, full onset, for example 2 1. We can have with a different certain status. Just pay attention about the typing methods. Okay, and also seeing here, click, still the same, top. Now we can have all this status. And also don't forget, we can also do the token molding. The same, auto select, style type, manufacturer. You can also select as your preference. And then material, you can select from the default setting, or if you want, you can also bring with the same material, but afterwards. This time I directly use some of the default settings. For example, still the material. Okay, I just roughly give you the result, and then pay attention about here the wrap. Okay, if you don't select, the default setting will lie on similar like this, which is incorrect. What you need is here, this is auto select again, and generate wrap. And now it will have an area. Okay, but if you really want them to get a control, you can continue with the extend front. Okay, here's the front. If it is too wide, -5. Let's say it's 5 inches, and check about the 6 status, 50 millimeter. Now you see actually it goes, okay, within inner. This is the front, okay, front as the units. So continually 65. Let's do this. Okay, regenerate again. Now you have the proper, and height also do it as well. Generate again. See, actually this is kind of an easy way to do the auto generating. And even so, if you want, you can also do the manual edit. You see here, change to 2D. You also can have your selections. For example, here, if you don't want it, you can also just merge the dot. The system will automatically give the proper result. And even if you want to change the position, type the number, or even manually to do the moving, you can also generate. Okay, the same style here. First, changing the position. After correct, select the proper style, proper materials. Okay, I just roughly select one. Here, 4.5. Generate. Okay, you can compare this one with zinc and this one the default outer. So that would be the difference. So just pay attention about how we use. Yeah. The default setting will have the auto snap, so you can have a very strong feeling of having that. Okay, and after here we finish. See, we have the tool key, this one, style and the material brush. Yeah, we can directly use the material brush to give the same color, the same material. Okay, and then after we finish the layout, we finish all this one, don't forget we have a batch changing for the style in here. So you can see we have the universal, the global, and here the style constraint setting. You can click. Okay, for example, turn to here, we got this style constraint setting, and you can have the public and enterprise. Today we use the public. Also, if you have in the future, you can use the enterprise catalog to change. And here for public catalog, okay, using this edit. If you directly use the apply, the default setting will goes all along with the settle, and then you can have the unique result. And if you use the edit, here you can see for the different subcatalog, basic means all the entire unit, whatever you go with the wall or the floor. But here it also lies with the base and walls, which means actually we can do some separately changing. For example, if you want, let me just show you some of the changing here. First, for the entire body door style, here, for example, let me change. Assuming that we have the manufacturer, okay, still front cabinet, for example, the recessed doors, click, okay, and apply for all model, and actually will change. But of course you can click. Let me do some of the changing, just show you some different. For example, this one, okay, and once you click apply to the old model, the system will just change, okay, thoroughly. You can see here the base also it changed, and the wall it changed. And if you want, you can also continue with the, let's say, the door material. Okay, give some different, for example, here, apply, and also here it means associate with the preset, the basic preset. If you really want to have one very independent using, then you can just unbreak. For example, I wanted wall door panel different, so I just break them and then change to different elements that I preferred or different material that I prefer. So you can use some different choices like this. Yeah, you can either use the independent or just with the different. Okay, now applied. Turn it back, applied. So for example, independently changing, for the body, for the door style. Yeah. And now apply. And now you can see the system is going with the new result, and you can see the changing. So just pay attention about the style constraint. But if you want to have the different status, for example, I just want to set back with the previous setting, you can turn back. Yeah, use the restore default styles. Yeah, now which means for the new models, the new elements that you want to put it in, they will all lies with the default setting. Otherwise, it will still turn back. It will still turn back for the preset. This is some style presettings. So you can just directly change as your preference and set as the default styles. After you have the proper selections and the decors for the base unit, now you can turn to, for example, the smart decor. Okay, it will select all. You can, for example, use the U shape, kitchen and bath, the U shape, and it will apply for the entire decorations. So you don't need to put one by another. Okay, but if you want, you can also turn back. For example, turn to the main decors. So here I can also show you. Finish. Using the decor, well, we have so many decorations in home decors. So just click and put, and just don't forget here, pay attention about the positions. For example, click. Once it shows with the blue button, you can see under the model, it means it can recognize out the surface, and then you can use. Some of them you can also change, okay, with the proportional scaling, and then now you can just directly change in the thickness and the dimensions. If you don't want, just delete. And here the same, some of the material, if it is incorrect, so for example the positions, and you don't forget to turn back to kitchen and select the part, drag. Now for the models, it can be recognized out for the boundaries, and then do as your preference. After you finish all the decoration and the detailed modification, you can directly turn to the render result here. Use the render, and now choose the proper render view. If it is hard to find the proper render view here, you can drag. Okay, drag the boundaries. Here is the clipping. You can void some of the disturbings and then turn it back. For example, the camera position is outside, but now you can see inner, and also change in the aspect ratio. Click 3D, take the entire render with one clicking. Yeah, just void. Now click. We have the proper result. Okay, and also don't forget use here the ambient lights using the default settings, and having the result here once it finished in the gallery. Okay, you can select proper resolutions to make it clear to be seen, and also the reference environment to make it better, with a better view, with a better lights outside and viewings outside. And also if you want, you have the drawing, okay, in here. Now you can directly generate all the status, for example, for the customizing in the edit view. Yeah, it will automatically generate the main body of the cabinet, and it will light here. So as you can see here, we all have this status coming out, and you can download or share.